Welcome here on the show, Weekend Sports on Trust TV. Adeni Aji Shafe. Well, what's a night for Nigerians? When you look at these Olympics, you can actually say what an Olympic for Nigerian team. Team Nigeria have not really done so well at this competition, even though some record was set, but really we've not found it easy at all. Well, looking at the fact that on Friday, Nigerians were hoping that something great will happen, but it never happened. In fact, looking at their biggest prospect at the Olympics, that's to do with Tobi Amusan, world record holder, not being able to qualify for the 100 meters hurdles final for women. That was a big one for Nigerians all across the globe. Aside that, all the other competitions were scheduled for yesterday. We could not. We were not able to pick qualify for the medal table there. Well, a big one there for Nigeria. Team Nigeria will be looking at the focus. Team Nigeria performance at 2024 Paris Olympics. That's our focus this hour, because we really need to talk about our team. What went wrong? What happened? In fact, our last hope was really dashed yesterday. What a big one there for Team Nigeria. And you know, sport really unites all of us. When it comes to sport, there is no Yoruba, there is no Hausa or Igbo. We all come together as one. In fact, no religion in Nigeria at that moment. So why don't we always use this particular sport to get things done in Nigeria? Really, attention must be on sport. A federal, state, and local government of Nigeria needs to see that, yes, even though they always underrate sport, but sport is a very, very vital tool to use to get Nigeria into that pedestal of greatness that we ought to be. Well, right now we'll be talking with two guests that we're having, one in the studio and one also via Zoom. As we have in the studio, Joe Abuko is here. Good to have you, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Joe is here to talk sport with us, and we'll also be having Joseph Peter from Kaduna. Good to have you, Joseph. Okay, so Joseph will be joining us as we continue on the show. But first of all, Team Nigeria, focusing on our performance so far at these Olympics. Joe, we'll start with Tobi Amusan. That was a big prospect. In fact, Nigerians were waiting for that moment to see how she'd be able to do it. The first race she ran, she was able to do it 12.49. Then Nigerians were also hoping that the semi-final she qualified for, she would also have a roller coaster, but it never happened. She came third, and it was a tough one. Talking about Tobi Amusan there. Now, you look at this, our biggest prospect, because after it was as if all the days, from day 1 to day 13, Nigeria were actually trying to do well, but they could not. Now, day 14 came, our biggest prospect. It was like a shocking dream to Nigerians when they woke up, and some people were like, some people were still waiting for the news, not knowing that the news had actually dropped. Tobi Amusan yesterday, it was a big pain in Nigeria's heart.
Yeah, that was really heartbroken. If anything, Nigerians really banked on her. I mean, counted like if every other thing failed, Tobi Amusan being the world record holder in her field would definitely bring us a medal. And the fact she didn't even make it to the final was really crushing for Nigerians. I mean, I woke up this morning, again, looking at the medals table, still seeing that 0, 0, 0 for Nigeria was really shocking. But, I mean, it goes to show you how competitive the Olympics are. I mean, it's not a respecter of records. It's about, I mean, your performance at that very moment. I mean, we can't beat Tobi up, or I'm sure she did all the right things, but again, you have to give credit to some of the competitors in her field of race. They also put in the work. I mean, they know to beat a world record holder, they have to be on their A game, and apparently, I mean, they brought their A game on, which is why we couldn't see Tobi even take part in the final. But that was really shocking and heartbreaking for most Nigerians.
Very, very heartbreaking for Nigerians. Seriously, Nigerians were hoping that Tobi will to go to the final, and then we actually have hope of making it. Well, but that who was really dashed. She came third, and I still remember after that particular race, the French lady that actually ran for France, that's Samba Mayela, according to the news that came out, that if you look at the round, the drawing there, that her feet actually ran out of her track, and they actually quickly filed to see maybe, since that one went against us in the 4x400 meters, who knows, maybe this will favorable. It never happened. So painful. Nigerians were also hoping, because immediately that news broke that Mayela ran out of her track, the people were beginning to, Nigeria begins to check the record of Olympics to see if it will favor us.
Yeah, it's pretty much like what we face sometimes in World Cup qualification where we don't perform well. We're counting on how other teams hope this team loses. The rules are strict when it comes to athletics. Sometimes people get disqualified for false starts. I'm just starting before the gun goes off and all, or for bumping into someone during the race. So, yeah, we just couldn't deal with the fact that Tobi hadn't made it to the finals. And for Nigerians, given how much we count on her, given how much we love her, given how much we've seen from her in the past, we just clutched onto that final hope that somehow, some way, something will happen for her to make it to the finals and maybe possibly get a medal. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Or that wasn't the case. So we just have to wait again for Los Angeles for this one. Looks like, it wasn't going to happen.
So painful for Nigerians concerning Tobi Amusan there. It's at least looking at the fact that she's the biggest prospect for Team Nigeria at this competition, for the fact that she's a world record holder, and also we know what she can do, what she did at the African Games, and for the fact that she's been very consistent even before the Olympics. What went wrong? Well, Joseph Peter, are you there? Okay, seems Joseph Peter is having issues with the audio, but right now, back to you in the studio. If you look at Tobi Amusan's before the Olympics, in fact, a lot of people were happy for the fact that for the past 3 months now, she has been in a very consistent mood of doing well in all the races she ran. But it was as if if you noticed, a weak point is always a slow start. A slow start is Tobi's weakness, and if she's able to pick, then she begins to move. The same thing happened to Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt always starts slow, but later begins to sprint as the races continue. But for Tobi, it didn't work out for her yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing with sprints. We're talking races that last between 9, 10, 12 seconds. So it matters how you start, and it matters how you accelerate. Now, sometimes people don't get off to a great start. If you look at the 100 meters for men, for instance, Noah Lyles didn't get off to the greatest start, but he accelerated and just made it at the nick of time. In 10, 12 seconds, if you don't start well, there's a likelihood, you might not catch up. But be proud of the Olympics. Like we said, she did everything right. She holds her record. She's won medals in it, and she beat, people from God knows where, all the countries around. To set the record she did. So everything went well, but it comes down to that very moment, that key moment. How did she get off? Did she get off well? Did she accelerate at her usual pace? But all of that is what made it impossible for her to make it to the final.
Very, very painful for Nigeria, because we're hoping that Tobi Amusan will actually do us proud. Looking at the way all the day seems to be a bad day for Team Nigeria. But as it is right now, at least we just hope that another Olympics will begin to plan now. Although before we talk about that, still talking about Team Nigeria, but this time around, let's talk about the 4x400 meter relay. Well, like I was saying, Nigerians were also looking at, okay, since they said we ran out of track, and our 4x400 meter men were actually disqualified. So we're also hoping that something will happen to us in the 100 meter hold. But now, our 4x400 meters, that was another hope for Nigeria, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, it just goes to show how we've recorded a decline in sports in our country, and there are many factors that account for that. We can talk about those all day. But the relay races are races Nigerians typically used to do well, be it the 4x100, be it the 4x4. In fact, we used to have podium finishes on those races. Yeah, it's a bit surprising too that we got disqualified for, breaking the rules, running out of tracks in this case. I don't know if it's down to the practice, the athletes. I don't know if it's down to sometimes in those moments, the adrenaline rush and all, you can be under pressure and sometimes just push yourself to a point where you go outside the rules. But it's really unfortunate. I like to see athletes, sometimes I feel the rules are too strict, to be honest. For instance, I don't like it when somebody gets disqualified at the first instance for a false start. It can be a warning, but sometimes it means you don't make it to the race. So I would have it would have felt better if they didn't make it to the final because they didn't come up. I mean, they didn't qualify automatically. But when it's about disqualification, sometimes that's a bit of a painful one, but the rules are what they are, so it's something we have to live with and practice better so that we don't make those mistakes in the future.
What a mistake by Nigeria 4x400 meter relay team there. Well, from the way it is right now, we're still really licking our wounds for this Olympics. Seriously, disasters were even coming from the minister there. But right now, still talking about yesterday's event, Team Nigeria, Elizabeth Ayanacho, that's in Taekwondo. We're also looking at her because it was as if each event that comes up, Nigeria will be hoping that another one will pick. But Elisa Ayanacho also was defeated by Chinese Taekwondoists.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Nigerians hoping. Sports unites us greatly. So when one Nigerian is in the contest, I mean, it brings the whole country together, and we really look forward that person's victory would further strengthen us as a people. Yeah, Taekwondo was, for me, it was a big plus seeing a Nigerian go that far. It's not one of the most popular sports for us out there. So seeing someone get into that combat space and get to the point where she did was quite lifting. Hopefully, there were better days in the future. She lost to Asians are better at martial arts and all of that stuff. So that's not to say because Asians are better, we have to concede it to them. No, I mean, countries are beaten in the areas of comparative advantage. We see that every other day. We didn't see Jamaica, for instance, on the 200 meter race for women. So sad that again we lost it in Taekwondo, but for me it's kudos to our athlete who made it that far. She could make it some other day.
Hopefully, Ayanacho Elizabeth will get better as the Olympics comes up in the next 4 years. But really, after all, in 2008 Beijing Olympics, Chika Chukwumerije was able to make us proud, winning bronze in martial arts sport. So it is possible that we can also beat the Asians. But right now, at least the problem of yesterday, seriously, looking at Team Nigeria not doing well at the day that we were hoping that something great will happen. Aside the Taekwondo, we also have weightlifter Joy Eze. Joy Eze, they were also hoping rather that Joy Eze will be able to lift well. Talking about weightlifter there, but alas, she also went down, not being able to make it. Apart from Joy Eze, we also have wrestler Ashton Mutua. Mutua also fought. Mutua lost out in his own fight. He decided to represent Nigeria, but it didn't go well at all. That day 14 was not. In fact, it did not to be forgotten because out of all the days, it seems Nigeria were really hoping that yesterday would be a better day, but it didn't happen. But so far in this competition, it has not been a smooth ride. Right now, we have Joseph Peter joining us from Kaduna. Let's hear from Joseph. We've done a wrap-up before you joined us concerning Team Nigeria performance yesterday at the Olympics. It has not been too well with our team. It's in fact so painful that it seems this Olympics just attended it as a bystander, but now in fact, and the last event we are having is going to be today in wrestling. Hannah Ruben will be talking about that later. But so far, out of all the days we participated in this event, we know that to some extent the Tigers made us proud. They could not go beyond USA game, but at least we have hope there that we have a team that can at least be among the best in the world, rated 8 right now. Your analysis or a wrap of Team Nigeria as you see them yesterday?
Concerning the failure all across the board, I would call it bad is the basketball female team, which did us proud, even though they were edged out by the USA. But you would understand it's against the USA. I think the failure all across the board, the standard has dropped. I believe the national standard and the West African standard has dropped. The reason why I say this is because prior to these Olympics, there were national games and there were West African games, and all these athletes we are talking about did fantastically well in all these competitions, which built the hope that we had in them to go and do well in the Olympics, right? And now here we go in the Olympics with all this expectation, and failure all across board. That tells you that the world has gone a bit far. They have taken steps that we have not actually covered up. So for me, it's just down to the standard. Standard has dropped, and we need to find make it up because a lot of athletes have gone. Even the almighty her name gets out of my head. The athletes, Tobi, Amusan, for that matter, I mean, we all expected that, okay, even if the worst at least we expected was that she would make it to the final and not probably win maybe the gold, but maybe the silver or the bronze. That was worse. That was the standard delay for Tobi Amusan. But even her couldn't believe it. If you look at that picture, she was shocked. Like, what happened, right? And that's exactly how we feel right now. So I don't think it's down to individual issues. I believe all across board the performances and the standards which we train, the standards of our own competition which we use to evaluate and prepare for a world stage competition has dropped in the recent past, not so long, in the recent past, and we need to find out what that is. We need to fix it and get back to that glory days. Or even though it's not so much gigantic like USA and China winning gold medals and silver and everything on the Olympics table, but at least we didn't used to disappear like this. But this is total disappearance from the Nigerian team, and we are disappointed. I am particularly disappointed.
Well, while you are disappointed there, a lot of Nigerians too were disappointed about what happened yesterday, especially yesterday. It was a total disastrous moment for Nigerians. We were hoping that our greatest exports will be able to do us proud, but it never happened. But looking at what you said, that, well, everything has gone down. We need to, now, how do we reset? How do we set? Because now, in the next 4 years, before we know it now, another one is here for Los Angeles. Is coming. Is in fact already getting closer and closer. So what do we do to get it right? It's not about money now. People are saying 12 billion was released. How do you spend the money? When do you release the money? How are the athletes getting prepared? Let's hear from Joe.
I agree with what Joseph has said. Look, the standards have dropped immensely. Nigeria has always been a sports powerhouse. When it comes to the All Africa Games, it's a contest between Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt. So we expect that on the global stage as well. Even if we are not on the level of the USAs and the Chinas and the Australias, we would at least have showing. That hasn't happened. It just goes to show how sports development is in tatters in the country, and we have to call it for what it is. I mean, sports development is in total shambles. It has to start from the very beginning, from primary school as far as I'm concerned. I recall I was a primary school kid. Then my state sports council, the Benue State Sports Council, it used to be a buzz, a beehive of activities. I remember going there once, and so you see handballers, boxers, weightlifters, taekwondo, tennis players, and all. And a boxing coach came to me. I looked very thin and scrawny, and said, "Hey, you look like you make a good boxer." And he boosted my confidence. He was convincing. I didn't join. I ended up going to taekwondo classes. But then, now, down to my secondary school. My secondary school was very close to the sports council as well. So sometimes as a day student, I would work there. The sports council, morning, evening, was like a buzz of sports activities. If you go there today, you'll see more drinking spots around it than last time I was there was about 2-3 years ago. So we need to take sports development from primary to secondary school. There used to be this all secondary school games, different. That's where you spot talent, because you need to look at what's the average age of athletes. I mean, you're looking at 20s. That is where most athletes are at their peak. 20s, mid-20s to maybe 30, plus or minus. Now we don't have to wait until you have to start looking for talent from the primary school to the secondary school. You harness it, you hone their skills, you provide them solid training infrastructure, provide them mentorship. It's a gamut of different factors. But until we take sports development at the very grassroots seriously, let's even look. Some of these athletes who we are banking on are not even based here per se. Yes, some came through the ranks, but they're able to contest at the level we see them because they have infrastructure elsewhere. They find facilities elsewhere that have, made them better athletes. Back here, if we even look around Abuja, for instance, take swimming. How many swimming pools do we have in Abuja, apart from the ones maybe in hotels that are not meant for the kind of Olympic competition? We'll see. Even a place like Lagos, how many like Olympic size or whatever pools we should be contested in swimming? We have people who grow up in riverine areas and can swim with moving water, swim against the currents, which is more difficult to do than swimming in a pool. Do we develop those? No. So there are many areas where we have comparative advantage, but until we start paying attention to sports development, looking for talent, developing those talent, providing them the infrastructure they need, providing them, tying even scholarships to sports, give people incentives to make them look forward to sports. And also, I won't divorce the economy from it. If people are hungry, the motivation to partake in sports might not be great as well. So there are a lot of things that need to come into the picture. It's like a rug. You bring different strands of thread to make it the full product it is. So, but sports development is at the key, is at the foundation of it. It has to start at the very lowest level. Some of the players we see in the Premier League today, if you go back, you see them, they were 8, 7-year-olds in sports academies, like little kids that you're just running around playing, but today they are big stars. And that's how other countries develop their athletes. We shouldn't just sit back and hope that it's going to happen. It doesn't happen that way.
From the way it is right now, both the Zoom guests and also the studio guests are really trying to see how Nigeria can go back to those days when we used to at least get our talent from the local level or the lowest level. Grassroots sport development is really, really vital right now in Nigeria. If you want to get it right, you just have to go back and begin to allow talents, budding talents, to be allowed to shine. Not anymore where we bring in athletes that are just not too ready to do something. Well, but from the way it is, it's a big one, a huge turnaround. Just have to affect Nigerian sport to get better. Not only Nigeria, West Africa, check it out. Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, all of them struggling at the Olympics. None of the West African nations have been able to do something great at this Olympics, where you have Kenya, you have Zambia, Botswana, South Africa being able to at least register one medal or the other. In fact, well, now taking us to that level, let's talk about the Botswanese who actually did well. Let's see Tebogo. Tebogo has become the first Botswanese athlete and also being able to set record. And for the fact that he's able to do it, or rather was able to do it, it's being celebrated as we speak. The nation of Botswana, they actually issued national holiday on Friday. And the man will be going home with about $300,000 US. 4-bedroom flat has been issued to him by the government of Botswana. Tebogo quietly surprised the whole world. Why Noalize, the American showman, could not do it. Although later they attributed to COVID. some Africans were saying no, it was because they were shocked that Tebogo actually won that race.
Yeah, I mean, again, the sprint races are down to those moments. What you've achieved in the past sometimes doesn't really count. But yeah, we are proud for Tebogo for winning the men's 200 meters. Really made Africans proud. He prepared for it. I mean, he was really motivated. Said he was running for his mother as well, was able to achieve that medal. So yeah, no, Elias, it wasn't his day. He was... people gave it to him before the race, but he fell short. We don't know if it's down to COVID. We don't know if it's just like his performance didn't measure, but Tebogo did us really proud. And even though we see 0-0-0 in the Nigeria on the medal table for Nigeria, we are quick to embrace African nations that have done well. So shout out to Tebogo and other Africans. An Ethiopian won the marathon this morning.
Yeah, the Kenyan.
Is it a Kenyan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I consider myself more African to do this morning. So we have gold medals.
Seriously. Well, talking about Tebogo there, Joseph, I'm sure, even though it's not in Nigeria, but as an African, it's a continent, we always unite. I still remember when Morocco and Egypt were playing, Nigerians, rather Africans could not just, they don't know who to support. But this time around, Leslie Tebogo, the Botswanese athlete, really shocked the world. No one saw that coming. Attention was really on Noah Lyle of USA and other athletes. Because if we look at the 100-meter race where he actually ran, he came fifth or thereabout. So attention was not really on him, and he quietly got to the race, and he was able to win. Congrats to Tebogo there. Joseph, what do you have to say concerning him? He made us proud as an African.
Yeah, he made us proud. He made us proud. As an African, I'm speaking in the scale of an African right now because I don't have anything as a Nigerian to celebrate, right? So I don't have any choice. I don't even have any choice but to go but it is what it is for us. And as for him, congratulations to the nations of Botswana and what they've been able to achieve. This is something for them to celebrate. The other, USA athlete is complaining about the COVID. I think they are all ashamed that it's actually Botswana that picked them to the medal. That's why they are bringing up COVID. And if he had COVID, he shouldn't have run or something. I don't know. But like it's an African thing At least we have Africans winning something, even though we West Africans are not winning. And that's something to celebrate. Then congratulations to them and congratulations to us.
Well, hopefully, at least Tebogo will continue to shine because of what he has done right now. A lot of Africans are so happy with him for the fact that he was able to win that 200-meter race for men. Now, still talking about the Olympics, we have a particular athlete, even though Nigerians are saying if we cannot win any medal, let's celebrate the diaspora. Yemisi Oguleye actually threw shot put for Germany. And right now, the lady won gold medal yesterday. It was a shocking moment because Nigeria were like, this is a Nigerian. But, well, we also have Ekunwoke, who actually did well for America in discus at the hammer thereabout, and she won silver. This is another Nigerian in diaspora now who did well. So Nigeria are saying, okay, if we cannot win gold in the normal race, we have won gold in diaspora.
Yeah, I mean, it begs the questions. What is it that make those who take up citizenship elsewhere, win medals, while those who represent Nigeria? It's down to what they're exposed to. It's down to the facilities, it's down to the motivation, it's down to the sort of incentives they get. It's not like ordinarily they are more skilled or talented than our homegrown, our athletes, but the sort of things they are exposed to. Yeah, I saw the lady who represents Germany. She picked up a gold. I saw the one who got a silver, I think, in disco. Yeah, tried to represent Nigeria at the last Olympics, but somehow some paperwork didn't go right, and that didn't work. So it brings out the same about what facilities do we put at the disposal of our athletes? What is there to motivate them? And sometimes, look, some things, I get it. Sport is quite expensive. It takes a lot of money to put some of this, to put resources in sport together. But there are certain things that don't need so much to put together. I saw a Pakistani man, he won a gold medal in javelin. That's Pakistan's only medal at the Olympics so far. What does it take? Again, as a secondary school student, my school had I'm talking 90s, they were like javelin, whatever that they throw is called, the stick or whatever. I know. I'm sure if you go around 80% of schools in Nigeria today, you won't see beyond the football field or some of these things, you won't see some of those facilities. Things like discus. It doesn't take so much to put those stuff together for people to train. And also, we need to invest heavily in sports, find the connection between government, the private sector, and other people to see what can be invested in that space so that our athletes will get the same benefits those in other countries get.
Well, talking about Nigeria in diaspora, well, you want to agree with me, Joseph, that even though we couldn't do it, but at least we have some Nigerians winning for other countries. What a way to go. I remember Francis Obikwelu changing to Portugal, Gloria Alozie to Spain, and we've seen another lady with the that is over there in the Middle East, who also right now as we speak. She's also she won silver in her own race, and really Bahrain, yes, she ran for Bahrain, El Sawadi, thereabout her name. The Nigerians in diaspora and those who actually naturalized to other nations, because of facilities and the way those nations take sport, easily they move straight down to win either gold, silver, or bronze, or do well in other competitions. But each time, I still remember Ekunwoke, when she was trying to compete for Nigeria 4 years back, she could not, but now she won silver at the Olympics.
I was actually hoping you wouldn't start on all these kinds of issues because I have a lot to say. Initially, I was you asked my friend Joe in the studio there about the facility, about administration, about how to grow talents into becoming something in this country, and you didn't involve me, and I was glad because I what I have to say is actually, but I'm not going to go that far. But let's ask ourselves these questions. Why do sportsmen that, change nationality and play for other countries do well? Our own sportsmen do well all across board of sports. Talk about football, Karim Adeyemi, Adekanji, Adeyemi, Akanji, good players right now. I'm just talking about current players now. Why do these sportsmen always do better when they are representing other countries that provide the platform, administration, right, and the space for them to actually express themselves? Why do they do well? Because we are the complete opposite. The complete opposite. I'm very, very glad my friend there mentioned, the javelin, having the javelin and all that back in the day. And now I heard him say that, okay, bar football pitches. Well, if he hasn't checked, I'm going to update him now. Football pitches are now built, classes are now built on football pitches. I know about 4 secondary schools in various different parts of this country that, the football field was regarded as a complete utter waste of time, and classes were built on it, and you send these students to this school without even good maybe teaching and all that, and they go to school, they graduate, and there is no job for them to do. And this escape route that they have, to express themselves, develop, sit with kings, grow internationally, you are blocking it. We take sports in this country as something that those students that are not well trained go and do. They don't rate it, they don't value it, they just see it as a waste of time, and a lot of them that are administering it are only paying attention to it only because avenue for them to steal money without notice. So I don't know. That is the level where we are. Whether we like it or not, it is the white truth about sports in this country, right? A couple of people are trying their best, yes, but they are they are just a voice in the wilderness right now. If we turn around and look at sports as an avenue where we can engage our youth, all these miscreants, all these problems we're having now, get these people that are involved in this thing engaged with a sport, and then make their academic performance to be the evaluator of their qualifications in this sport, then maybe we will not be where we are now. But like I said, I don't want to say much. I've said a lot. Let's just hope that things turn around for the best.
Well, Joe in Kaduna is really, really angry this morning concerning Nigerian sport. Well, you just have to get it right. If we are to do sport, if we want to use sport as a way to make us get some revenue and also make name for ourselves, then we need to do it right. Sport is really very, very important. You see all the nations across the... In fact, I think it's high time we just let ourselves know that if USA, China, Japan, and the likes of Great Britain can come together to see how they can win even egg race to get medals, if it's actually assigned, then what makes us not to use our populations too? America is as big as, when it comes to population, 3 times. When it comes to, in fact, look at China, the population. Look at how they take sports serious. Well-developed nations still going into sport, spending so much money in the sports sector. And we always want to use sport as if it's just a mere training or keep fit exercise. Meanwhile, nations across the globe are making money, revenue, employment, everything via sport. Something great must come to sport. By the time they return to Nigeria, I expect the Federal Ministry of Sport Development and the maybe House of National Assembly, they should sit tight and see what can we do. How can we change the narrative concerning Nigerian sport? We've been talking with Joseph in Kaduna, from Kaduna, and also Joe Abuku joining us in the studio to talk sports. Team Nigeria performance on day 14, and also looking at the whole Olympics. It has not been too sweet for Team Nigeria. But right now, quickly, let's just dash to the medal table, the top 10, and we look at it to let you know that US are back to the top. US are now having 33 points alongside China, 33 gold medals, 111 in total for US. US are topping via silver. They have silver 39, bronze 39 for China, 27 silver, 23 bronze medal, total of 83. Australia, Japan, Great Britain, France, South Korea, Netherlands, Germany, and also Italy. They are pecking order. But the race has been between USA and China, same on gold medal. And now, because of this disparity between silver and bronze, USA are still topping, 111 to 83. It's down to the wire for the two nations till on Sunday, when the final races will be completed. It's still open for anyone to win out of China and USA. Just let you have a feel of what's happening in the top 10 there. Well, for the top 10, today we have just one event to participate in, talking about Team Nigeria, and that has to do with wrestler in women's freestyle wrestling, 76 kilogram. That's Hannah Ruben. Hannah Ruben will be fighting by 10:49. She will be fighting, and hopefully, this is our last straw at the Olympics.
Yeah, we just have to hope and pray she gets something. I mean, it's going to be flat out embarrassing. I get it. The Olympics are not all about podium finishes or medals. It's participation, it's a unification and all, but it will embarrass the nation of Nigeria's stature and size to go to the Olympics and then come back totally empty-handed. You showed the medal table a moment ago. I'll tell you something interesting. As at Atlanta 96, when we won gold in football, beating the likes of Brazil and Argentina on the way, and long jump, Nigeria finished ahead of Britain in the Olympics. You know, the Olympics count rates gold over
any other medal.
Yeah, so we finished ahead of Britain. Today, Great Britain is somewhere in the top 10, and they've constantly been on the rise. I think they had about 2 or less than 2 medals at that time, gold medals at the time. Look at them today, look at them at Tokyo, look at them at London 2012 and in Rio. For Nigeria, it's been a nosedive, like steady decline downward. So we just need to see this as a national emergency, put the environment right. There are many factors. I'm sure we've lost a generation of coaches in many sports. So you look at, there's been so much focus on football, which even that, if we go to the debate of football, it's not like we're at our peak level and all. But there's been so much focus on football, it's taking attention away from other sports. So we don't even have coaches in some of these events. We bank on people in the diaspora to make avail themselves of the facilities and environment and all. So we hope we get this wrestling. I mean, we are strong people. Someone joked that we have so many Agberos, they should be very strong. We just hope that this lady, the wrestler will bring us a medal. It's going to be, this morning I was joking with a Zambian friend of mine. Zambia has won bronze medal. And I sent the friend a message saying, so Zambia is so poor, they have just a single bronze at the Olympics. And the response was, oh, she's been so busy counting Nigeria's gold medal. That she didn't take. It will be egg on our face if the Paris Olympics wraps up and we don't have anything at all. I mean, it's bad enough already, and this is a national emergency in terms of sports, and the president and our administrators need to get to the table, have a conversation, and act. It doesn't look good on us.
It's not too good at all for Team Nigeria. Well, right now, we were talking with Joseph there, but right now, Joe, let's cross over and talk about Germany and also Spain. Germany were able to defeat Spain to win bronze when it comes to the football activities that happened yesterday. You look at the third place for women, Germany defeating Spain there. The girl was scored by Gwyn in the 65-minute penalty. While for men, well, a big one for Spain. Even though they lost out for the race in the bronze, well, they were able to do it, compensate for men, where they did well, winning extra time 5-3. Femi Lopez, Alex Berna, Sergio Camelo, Mateta, Akleuchi, and Milot. Well, Joseph Peter, what a match. Matches that happened yesterday. Olympic women for bronze, Germany defeated Spain, but Spain were able to do well to win gold when it comes to men's final. Okay, so looking at these particular results, Spain, they lost out for women in bronze, but they won the men.
So coming to football, Spain has really recalibrated at the club level and at the national level. Their women are currently world champions in football. And all here, I watched the game. It was really hard for the game. That's talking about the bronze medal match. I think they got a penalty at the dying seconds of the match, which the player bungled, and that's how Germany was able to escape. But the men had an emphatic win over France. Some had hoped France will pick that gold medal, being the host country, but didn't quite. But Spain, they've really recalibrated their football, and they are doing exceptionally well. So kudos to them for winning the men's gold medal, and it's sad that the women didn't get a podium finish.
Well, congrats to Germany for winning the bronze, but for the men, Spain, in fact, they seem to be getting to the final for almost all the competition except for the bronze medal for the women. Look at the way they were able to, they came from behind to beat France. Yeah,
it boils down to sports administration, and the environment has to be right. I watched their game against Colombia as well. They came down from 2-0, and I was shocked when I saw them.
A lot of people thought they were even going to be out.
Exactly. So it's about when you put the environment right. They've made the right investment. They've gotten the right administrators, and everything is going on well. They have the right academy. The Barcelona Academy has produced also the Real Madrid, and also these things start from. I heard the Spanish men's team. Most of them came through the Barcelona Academy. It goes back to the point about when do you start spotting and nurturing talent. Don't wait until they appear on the horizon. You have to have a system to identify potential from the very beginning, when people are less than 10 years old, and when you find someone who's shown a little flash of talent, nurture that talent, and they'll give you what you want. Put the environment right. Administrators also need to be on the same wavelength. It won't work if the athletes are putting in their best, but then the sports administrators are all about ESTA codes and travel and take themselves to, competitions and tournaments that will get the travel allowances, delay payment of what needs to be paid to the athletes. Everybody needs to be on the same page if we must get out of this embarrassing situation we found ourselves in.
Oh, Nigerian sport really needs a revival right now. Well, quickly, we just have to run through fixtures for today. We have two big ones coming up, and that's where we'll be having Joe Peter to talk with it. Olympic women's tournament between Brazil and USA will be a big one because both of them will be fighting for who will win for the women gold medal race between USA and Brazil. And also we have Community Shield, Manchester City and Manchester United. So it'll be 2-1 for you, Joseph. Joseph, are you there? Okay, so let's have it. From the Community Shield, we talk about the Olympic, USA Brazil. Maybe we should start with the USA Brazil quickly. Our time is almost running out.
Brazil game is going to be as expected. These are the top two, football playing nation when it comes to, female football. We expect the game to be very, very tight. It's going to be a very, very. Brazil are not really where they are, where they hope to be. In the final, their performance has not been so convincing for me. But for the USA, it's good. And I don't know what they have, in what they have planned to stop the Brazilian attack. I do not know what their plan would be, but I really do not think this game is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a very, very tight game. I expect the USA to be able to scale through and win this. Or I hope, maybe that's what I want, that I'm saying now, right? So I believe that the USA can actually win this game.
Well, I actually took you on Community Shield also coming up today between Manchester City and Manchester United. Wembley, is Wembley going to be sky blue or red?
I call this particular encounter the glorified friendly. I am not sure the both teams are going to take it. Maybe United, because they probably know that they are not going to win any season, so this is an opportunity for them, to win something and have something to celebrate. So, but they have a couple of players injured, and the Man City team is also not exactly complete. And Man City wouldn't want to win it. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because anybody that wins the Community Shield doesn't win the Premier League, and I'm sure Man City wants to win the Premier League, so they probably will leave this one for United. But jokes aside, it's going to be an entertaining game. And usually we get to enjoy this before the league starts, and hopefully this particular game today too gets to be very, very entertaining. I do not care who wins, but I hope Man City wins so that Arsenal gets to win the league, because anybody that wins the Community Shield does not win the Premier League.
Okay, while you were throwing your jaw about Manchester United, an Arsenal fan is actually trying to reply you that yes, Manchester United are not like Arsenal, who are always so close to the Premier and they don't win it. What a way to give you 1-0 there, Joseph. Anyway, for Joe, this game, Man City versus Manchester United, according to Joseph says to him, it's a glorified friendly. Do you agree with that?
Well, I guess he's right. I have no dog in the fight. I'm glad he's Arsenal, I'm Arsenal, and Lobby Stars as well. But yeah, in terms of, except the jinx factor he brought, that whoever wins the Community Shield doesn't go ahead to win the Premier League. I don't know how true that is, but otherwise I'll give Man City an edge. They might want to revenge over losing the FA Cup final last year to show that, look, we are the new powerhouse in Manchester and all. But it's a game of 90 minutes. We'll see how it plays out. So
from the way it is right now, both of you are Arsenal fans. You are a Lobby Star fan.
Absolutely.
Shoe get size. And I'm sure Joe too, from the way it is, it's also from Benue State. So
okay.
if I'm right. So Joe, it's a gang up against Manchester United, right?
Yeah, this is a very, very beautiful gang up. He supports Arsenal, I support Arsenal. He's for Lobby. I'm actually from Benue also. So I kind of support Lobby United, even though my team is my standard team in the Nigerian Premier League is Kano Pillars, because I grew up there and I saw everything happen, right? But it's a good one knowing that we are ganging up against United, and I would like to excuse United this time around. I want them in also want the jinx on Man City to happen. So I really, wherever I get to still to play, then that means that's how I get to enjoy the game. But like we all said, no, like you said, Man City would want to prove that they are that powerhouse, right? But if you ask me, I would say the past 2 years has been a bit of a decline. People do whatever they want, but they are not exactly, they are not exactly where they were like 2 3 years 3 years back, right? There's a bit of decline in Man City right now going on, and it will continue to happen. The reason mainly is because the idea or the knowledge that Guardiola will eventually leave this club very, very soon is going to take a toll on them, and the fact that players like De Bruyne that are the providers are a bit kind of declining because of age, and the recent sale of Alvarez, I really doubt it if they would have anybody that would come in and put in the kind of shift that Alvarez do put in whenever there is Haaland missing. So all those things coming together would factor for me to believe that Arsenal would actually have the edge this time around in the league. That's not what we are talking about. I just hope Man City win the league so that they will lose win the community shield so that they will lose the league.
Well, Arsenal, I know that one way or the other, you are stylishly finding a way to get your team that happiness. Let's see what they will do this season. It's a big one. The marathon race will be starting soon. Community shield between Man City and Manchester United today, and that'll be coming up in the evening. Well, who wins that battle at Wembley Stadium? We've been talking Guardiola versus Ten Hag. Who will win this? Both of them are actually aboard there. You look at the way it is now. Which of the heads will win this?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm thinking just to prove a point that look, there's a dominant force in Manchester City might just nick it to avenge, to show that the loss in the FA Cup was a fluke. But if I'll quickly dial back again to USA versus Brazil, I'll give the American team a slight advantage, although they too, I mean, they used to decimate every other competition that came their way, but looks like other teams have caught up, and Brazil is in pushover. What's their veteran's name? Mata. Yeah, would want to end on a high, so they'll throw everything into that game. But I think the Americans have a slight edge.
Well, don't wrap it up. A big one will also be happening in basketball. USA versus France, both men and women. That's a big one coming up. The end of the Olympics. You can't imagine what they'll be feeling like. The US now, they've qualified for both the men and also the women. Talking about the Olympics here, we wish them the best. Let the best team win.
Yeah, they got a serious care from Serbia, the men. It was seriously, they had to pull a rabbit out of the hat to win that one.
A big one there. Well, right now we just have to wrap it up. We have Joseph Peter join us from Kaduna. Joseph, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, while in the studio is Joe Abuku, both of you Arsenal fans and Lobby Stars faithfuls, ganging up against Manchester United. I just hope that they will prove you guys wrong this season.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that
pan out, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me on. It was really a good discussion on our sports prospects as a nation.
Good one there. Well, for the weekend sport, we just brought to you there all the activities I do with Team Nigeria. Hopefully, the last one standing, that is Hannah, will be able to also get it right. Right now, to speak, she's competing in wrestling, and we wish her the best. For Team Nigeria, we need to begin to plan for the next 4 years so that we can do well. We saw what happened, and hopefully things will go right next time. That's it on the show. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe. Sport is always business.